Welcome everyone to Dead Talk Live, and tonight our special guest is Aaron Dalla. Aaron, thank you so much for being here with us. How you doing, man?
Doing great, John. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Dude, I got to tell you, that booth is rocking that you're in right now.
Thanks, man. Yeah, this I got it during the pandemic actually because I was like, I gotta do something. So that's when I got more into voiceover. So I actually ordered it online. And it came in, then I kind of tricked it out.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm here in this little corner here. The best I have is this little green screen behind me. So we do with the best with what we have, right?
And no judgment, man. Yes, we do it the best we got, man. Just work with what you got. Work with what you got. Yeah.
So let's get started, all right? Man, I looked at you have 58 acting credits.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started?
When I started, I did my first movie when I was 20.
Damn, and
Yeah.
they just kept coming. I mean, that's a lot of credits.
Thank you, man. I work really hard. You just, if there's anything I do, I just keep putting myself out there. I
It's
just
working.
keep throwing it at a wall, see if it sticks. That's about it.
That's awesome. Now, did you always know you wanted to be an actor, or late? You started at 20. When did you know that you wanted to be an actor professionally?
When I was 20 years old, I thought I was going to be a ballet dancer when I was 13 because I started doing dance, and I went pro when I was 18, and I thought I was going to be a ballet dancer. But I knew I was going to be an entertainer ever since I was young. My grandmother would call me Jim Carrey. And so I just fell into it, and it's something that I've loved, and but I knew I was always meant to be an artist.
Now, do you still have the love for dance?
Oh yeah. I still do projects for dance. I actually am in talks to do a show, an off-Broadway show next year if nothing else comes up.
Okay, cool. Now, you have done quite a bit of horror.
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider yourself a horror fan?
I didn't really like horror until I started doing horror, and then I started seeing the community that was behind horror. It's one of the most faithful communities that I've ever experienced. They become real fans, and they love it so much that I started to kind of feed off their enthusiasm and started to love it myself. So I became a horror fan after I started doing horror movies.
Yeah, it is a community like none other. I mean,
Oh, bar none, bar
bar
none.
none,
That
bar none.
that the sci-fi community
Yeah.
are forget about it.
So let's talk about some of your horror flicks. You did
Sure.
Trick. Now, Trick was directed by one of our guests, Patrick Laurence, who's
Mhm.
an absolutely phenomenal human being. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't find a cooler person than Patrick. Veteran, experienced. What was it like working with Patrick?
Patrick is a gem of a human being and a gem of a director. He really lets his actors play. He knows exactly what he wants. He comes from an editing background, so he knows how he's going to cut the scene. And to be able to work with someone who directed, Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard is just, it's phenomenal.
It is. It is. Now, is it true you developed a song that was inspired by your role in Trick? Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I was so inspired by Smooth Johnny, and the script was written by Todd Farmer, another gem of a human. And I was only on for a couple days, but they ended up extending my part in the script as we were shooting. And I was in love with this character so much that I said, you know what, I got to write a song about it. So I just started crafting a song, and then I brought it to production, and I said, what do you guys think about this? And they said, oh my gosh, we love it. Now, they couldn't use it for the movie. However, I knew later on in life that it is something that I wanted to eventually put out there because, as I said before, I just keep putting myself out there. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Exactly. Now, with Smooth Johnny,
Mhm.
you had a lot of freedom to sort of expand on this character.
Mhm.
Did Patrick give you a lot of leeway?
Oh, ton. There's a lot of improv that I did in the movie. I think the whole scene when I'm in the church and we're watching Night of the Living Dead and I'm with Troy.
Yeah.
That whole scene is basically scripted with improv. He really let me run wild with that character.
Now, when you were developing this character, and you just said a lot of it was improv, what was your big inspiration while doing that?
I just tapped into the party boy in me, because Smooth Johnny is a party boy who keeps it cool, and I have a lot of experience from life playing that guy, playing the life of the party, so it wasn't much of a stretch for me to go there.
Now, when you were reading the script, you said that it was a shorter role for you. At which point did your role get expanded?
After the first day.
Well,
Yeah, I was only on for a couple days, but then it turned the days doubled, and all of a sudden new scenes were written in for me, and I was like, "Great, this is awesome!" So that verified to me that they liked what I was doing with the character.
absolutely, absolutely. Now, 2018, probably one of your biggest roles in The Pledge.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, oh yeah.
It addresses hazing, brutality of college fraternities.
Mhm.
The film had a really good, pace to it. There was no slow moments. What was it like, being there, and what was it like shooting it? Was it really quick? Did you feel it was just real high, fast-paced action while you guys were shooting?
We did have a skeleton crew, so it was a very light crew. This is an indie budget that was essentially made for nothing. A lot of people think that this is a $500,000 or $1 million film. Pledge's budget was $180,000.
Wow.
Yeah, which is nothing for what it turned out to be. But we had an amazing cast, an amazing director, and Daniel really let us play and go at it. And it felt like one of those experiences where there was no pressure. Sometimes you show up to set and you're like, oh, I got to get this thing right. It wasn't that. It was just us playing and shooting the crap, and and it was a relatively short shoot. So you had to get it in, get it done. But we were all still finding it together as we were doing it. And then we had this phenomenal editor, Nick Voitas, who cut it together, who turned it into what it is. And I really do believe that it's on its way to becoming an indie horror cult classic.
Yep.
I really think so.
Yeah, and people who watch me get tired of me saying this, but I always tell people a movie's not going to be judged when it comes out on opening weekend by critics. History will put a movie in its place. And you got to give it time. And all great movies were pretty much ripped apart when they first came out. And it wasn't until the years have passed that they settled into what has now become classic history. Now, the film is very character-driven, especially in the first 20 minutes. How do you feel about your character in Pledge?
He's one of my favorite characters I've ever played. It was just so much fun. And there was so much room. Daniel Robbins is one of my favorite directors to work with, and we've actually worked on 3 projects now. We've worked on 2 more feature films since Pledge, actually, and those are in post-production. He really just lets me do my thing. He takes the words that he's scripted and given to me, and he just lets me play. And it was just so much fun. And you see the work on the screen, and I can really see myself having fun. And I've always wanted to play an American Psycho Jr. type, so it was really cool when Slash Film actually said Aaron Dalla and American Psycho Jr. types. So that was really cool for me. Like I said, you just keep putting it out into the universe, man. You just keep doing it. And like you said, a lot of films were ripped apart when they first came out. There were some good reviews. The horror outlets loved it. The mainstream outlets hated on it. But I really do think that it will stand the test of time.
I agree. I completely agree. Now, it's sort of like a satire film, but it touches on a very real subject on what is still happening today in regards of hazing, fraternities. Do you think that was an important topic that needed to be addressed in movies?
100%, because I think right after the film came out, or around the same time that we were shooting the film, someone was actually killed in a fraternity from alcohol abuse
Yeah.
and these conditions. I mean, I think the film speaks to the larger aspects of what is this sort of toxic masculinity culture that we've cultivated in these sort of incubators, which are the colleges, and how dangerous it is to these young men, and what it means to be a man, and it's all BS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it speaks to that larger sort of idea.
Exactly. I totally agree. Now, you have several lighthearted comedic scenes in the film. Is that something you're comfortable doing when it comes to comedy?
I love comedy. I love comedy. A lot of people may think that I'm better at comedy than drama, actually. Yeah, I actually I am fortunate enough to be able to do both, to feel comfortable in both dramatic roles and comedic roles. I actually have a movie with Game of Thrones James Faulkner, where I play the supporting lead who's the comedic character, and that film is in post-production. Actually, that film's done. It's just waiting to be sold to a distributor and stuff, and I play the comedic supporting lead in that one. So I'm very comfortable when it comes to comedy, and Daniel allowed us the opportunity to flex our comedic chops, like the scene when I was coming out of the door when the guys were exhausted in the room for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I go, bah! And I clap my hands and stuff. That was all just me playing and just going for it.
I thought it was hysterical, the leg crossing in the air and all that.
Oh, that was all just me, just doing my thing. Woo! Yeah, all right. Yeah, just, yep.
Did you do any kind of research into that role? I mean, not the role, but fraternities, what's going on in today's colleges? Tell us about that.
There were some horror stories that I researched. Then I also looked into the secret societies such as Skull and Bones, because the Cryptea is a very Skull and Bones secret society. I had been researching Skull and Bones and being obsessed with the Illuminati, the occult, since I was a kid. So it was really cool to kind of take on that character who was born into that world. So having done that research really helped me fit the mold for that character and know his sort of swagger. So yeah. Yeah, and then just combine that with like the sheer brutality from the research that I did with just regular fraternities, and I think I really locked into them.
Now, like we said earlier, you have 58 credits to your name. Down the line in the future, do you want to do some directing, producing, behind the camera work as your career progresses? And with that being the case, part B of the question is, when you're actually doing a film, do you try to pick up on the different directors and how they do stuff that separates them from anybody else?
Okay, so I have done a couple producing things. There's a horror film called Immortal. I'm an associate producer on that one. I was producing another project that unfortunately fell through, and then I'm an executive producer on a couple projects with Daniel Robbins, and I'm a co-producer on 2 of his upcoming films. And then this other one, which is technically a sequel to Pledge, that I can't really talk about.
All right.
But I'm a co-producer on that. And when it comes to watching directors, I'm so focused on yes, I do want to direct more and produce more down the line, 100%. Right now, my focus is acting. When I'm acting, I just purely focus on acting. And sometimes I'll see, it's a vibe I get from the director. I'll be like, if I'm really liking the set and the vibe they're going, I'm saying, I wonder what they're doing. How are they doing it differently? You know what I mean? I actually have the opportunity I'm shooting another horror project with Kane Fodder
Kane Hodder?
Kane Hodder, that's it.
Okay.
Kane Hodder.
Okay.
Yeah, I play his son in it, actually. So Kane Hodder and Bill Mosley, a new horror project. Yeah, that I'm shooting next week, and I get to play both sides of the field. I'm actually going to be working as one of the crew on some of the days, and then acting it as well. So that's when I'll really start to look at the way things operate, because when I'm in an acting mode, all I focus on is acting. You know what I mean?
That's true. Okay. Now, Bill Mosley, Kane Hodder, I mean, they're horror icons. Bill Mosley, of course, from Rob Zombie's
Mhm.
House of a Thousand Corpses. Just going off topic here, what do you think of like Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, if you've seen those movies?
I was dating this girl who tried to have me watch House of a Thousand Corpses. I think it scared the shit out of me when I first started watching, because I grew up in a very Christian household where we were told that, horror movies are the devil and all that stuff. And Rob Zombie was like scary. And now I actually listen to Rob Zombie's Blitzkrieg Pop Bop on repeat on Amazon Music. So I'm a fan of his music. And no, I think her and I watched the movie. I mean, we didn't get through the whole movie, if you know what I mean, but I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. So, but what I really want to talk about, which I'm really excited about, is my next upcoming movie with, speaking of legends, Lance Henrikson.
Oh, wow.
I star in a movie. It's my biggest role yet. I star in a movie opposite Lance Henrikson.
Wow.
I'm the lead in the movie called Alpha Rift. It is an action fantasy sci-fi film that will be making its premiere to select AMC theaters and streaming November 19th. So in less than 2 weeks. And I'm opposite Lance Henrikson. Yeah. And you can find the trailer on YouTube. Right now, the trailer's everywhere.
What's it called?
Alpha Rift.
Alpha Rift. Now, Lance Henrikson, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Where do you start with him? Aliens? I mean, it's an endless...
Aliens, Millennium, Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, the man is a national treasure, and also, Viggo Mortensen's directorial debut, Falling. He is one of the funniest men I've ever met, because I got a lot of time with him on set. I actually have videos of him and I.
Are you talking about Viggo or Lance?
Lance.
Okay.
I have videos of him and I going over the script, actually, in the bed and breakfast that we were both housed at. So I'm holding on to those for a long time. What a gem, national treasure, and wow, it's learning from these icons who I've worked with is a lot. But yeah, Alpha Rift is going to be it's a big deal for me. So
give us a brief synopsis of what Alpha Rift is about.
Okay, Alpha Rift is about a gamer dude named Nolan Parthmore who runs a game shop, who worships a sort of D&D tabletop game called the Noblemen.
Okay.
And he's grown up with it his whole life. What he finds out is that the game that he adores and loves is actually real, and he's the bloodline of a medieval knight. So he's a bloodline of a medieval knight, so he gets thrust into a society of modern-day medieval knights, and he has to fight supernatural evil.
Wow. That's fascinating. That's fascinating.
Yeah. And I'm a very Marty McFly kind of type in that. So I'm not pledge evil, like Mr. American Psycho Jr. I'm a fun, lighthearted guy who has to sort of take on his destiny and eventually show some grit.
And this sounds like an action sci-fi film.
It's a total action sci-fi film. It moves. It premiered at Dances with Films earlier this year at the prestigious Chinese theaters. We have an 8 out of 10. Film Threat gave it a stellar review. The trailer's everywhere. It got picked up by Vertical Entertainment for domestic distribution, and then Sublimity for international. So it's a big deal for me. So
It sounds like a big deal. You said in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is it coming out simultaneously to those select AMC theaters and video on demand?
Oh yeah. It's gonna be coming on to Apple TV and other places. Along with select AMC theaters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that. I'm a huge Lance Henrikson fan.
Thank you.
Now, are you the lead role in this one?
I'm the lead.
Nice.
I am the lead. Yeah.
So, with that movie and everything else that you have in post-production, and it says you have a movie that you're currently filming, what would you say is the one movie to where you absolutely fell in love with your character? That's a tough one, huh?
Yeah, well, I have to counter that and say that's an unfair I'm unable to say one in particular because these characters all had their specific unique things that brought out a certain thing within my personality that I fell in love with. You know, Max, there was a sick, sadistic vibe to him. Nolan Parthmore, it was his, loviness and, kind of play a cool guy, Marty McFly kind of thing. And then Trick Smooth Johnny, he was just a straight up frat bro, fun loving, didn't think it was bad to be playing this murder game, as messed up as that sounds. But each of these characters I really fell in love with, especially this. My first big job was a series called Duels. It was for an app called Black Pills, which was Quibi before it became Quibi. So it's a different, it's not like a rebranding thing. It was a short, we did 10-minute episodes, 10-minute episodes, and I was the lead of that show. And it was this guy named Malcolm Carver, who's a misunderstood college student who takes up the death of this girl that he loved after this guy posted a video of them having sex on the computer. So he has this unrequited love from this girl. So he challenges this guy to a duel and he kills the guy in the duel, and he becomes famous for challenging people and being really a good gunslinger. And dueling takes the world by storm. And that was, if I can say, to rephrase it, if I can say what was the project that kind of started it all for me, I would have to say Duels, Black Pills. That was when my career was like, okay, you're just getting started. Because right after I shot Duels, I went right to Pledge.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was really cool. That was the catalyst.
Now, you have done a sort of wide variety of characters. You have not been pigeonholed to playing only horror-type movies. Is that important to you? A lot of people, without them doing it on purpose or doing anything wrong, sort of get boxed into playing a certain type of characters on certain types of movies. You have avoided that. Is there a secret to avoiding that?
John, I'm so happy you brought that up. Because the last thing I would want to be is pigeonholed into a certain type and only play that. Don't get me wrong. If you have a specific type, do it. Play it, do it. The advice I can give is expand your skills. I can come at them with, I used to be a ballet dancer. I was involved in voiceover. I've done hosting jobs, I've done live jobs, commercials, theater, like being able to play that wide variety keeps yourself working in all different avenues. So I really like that. And I'm happy that I haven't been pigeonholed. And I think that, like after Pledge came out, I was worried that, they're just going to type me as that guy, which I do book that guy. I have an episode of Gossip Girl coming out later this month where I do play that guy. But that is why I'm so happy that I have also Alpha Rift, which is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So, and Alpha Rift is going to open me up to a whole nother world. I'm thinking Marvel, Disney, that lighter hearted kind of stuff, even though it is serious. So I'm really excited to see what happens. And I like to think of myself as the wild card when it comes to casting directors. I think people are starting to look at me as the wild card and be like, okay, where can we put him? Because I just want to show them that, yes, I can play a multitude and variety of roles and just I can work in everything. That's my job as an actor, to just keep working.
And to, bring that point even further home, you have appeared in Gotham, which was shot in New York City on a sound stage. What was your experience like working on Gotham?
Gotham was really cool. I got to work with Corey, and it was, I think that was my first co-star job. It was my first big set job. I get there and, you have the whole crew and they light the car on fire and all that stuff. And you have a stunt double, 14-hour day, and just so cool. It was my first sort of breaking the ice on my first sort of co-star TV job. So, TV in general is much faster than film.
Do you have a preference between the two, films or TV?
Well, I guess what I can say is besides Duels, which is TV, but it was 10-minute TV and it felt more like a movie. I guess right now I prefer films more because the roles I've played in films are bigger.
Mm-hmm.
When I do book a bigger TV show down the line, we'll see what happens. Okay. We'll see what I prefer. Yeah. But as of right now, I really like film because with TV, it's like, okay, we have to tell this 30-minute story. We got to get through these points, ... and make sure that we tell this to the audience within 30 minutes with commercial breaks and blah, blah, blah. With film, it's like, oh, we don't know what this thing is, so let's collaborate together. So hopefully but I think you can do that when you are the series lead or series reg of a TV show.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot more input. When you're the co-star, you just come on, and it's not about you. It's about you propelling the story forward to help the leads. So that's all I do. When I come on as a co-star for Gossip Girl, I have to act like a drunk guy and call the girl a B word. So that's to heighten her point of anxiety because the paparazzi and blah, blah, blah. So all I do is just go on, and that's my thing. There's not much to it, you know?
Now, is there any character that you want to play, not specifically like a named character, a type of character that you have not had a chance yet to play that you really want to do?
The remake of Back to the Future.
So you want to be the real Marty McFly?
Absolutely. That's definitely on my list. Everyone wants to play the Joker. I'd like to play the Riddler.
I could totally see you as the Riddler.
I think I'm much more suited for the Riddler than Joker, because of the comedic element. I want to do a remake of The Mask.
So you're a big Jim Carrey fan.
I am. I really think he's absolutely brilliant.
He's
you know,
genius.
a lot of people when Pet Detective Ace Ventura, I would do a remake of Ace Ventura, or I want to play Jim Carrey's son in a project. You know, like if they did Pet Detective 4, and basically
that's a great idea. Ace Jr.
I'm already looking at it. Believe me, when I auditioned for SNL, I did a impression of him. I sent off a tape to SNL. Never heard anything back, but it doesn't matter. I got the audition, which was really cool. So yeah, I got to play a hip hop mogul type already in the All Those Small Things movie with James Faulkner. So that was amazing. And I also made 2 songs for that character. So even though Smooth Johnny Trick, I wasn't able to have my song in the movie like I wanted, I ended up getting it down the line when I played a different character. That movie has yet to come out, and I have 2 songs that I made for the character in the movie.
That's it.
So
my executive producer just messaged me. You could be his son on Liar Liar.
Liar Liar.
That's a cool idea.
No, that would be fantastic. And then you know, people like to say that I have a Tom Cruise element to me as well. Like I'm almost if Jim Carrey and Tom Cruise had a baby. I am very much interested in action movies as well. But I really want to be in The Matrix. Something in The Matrix. I had like
a reboot type thing because
I auditioned for the Matrix 4 and I got check a veil for it, but that was it. That was all that it came down to. But that was to be in The Matrix would be amazing. Obviously Marvel, DC. If I were to play a superhero or a villain, I'd want to play some version of Spider-Man. I think I'd want to play
Spider-Man or one of his villains.
One of the villains. I think there's a dark version of Spider-Man. I can't think of it right now. There's some multiverse Spider-Man version.
Yeah, I think they tapped in it with one of the Tobey Maguire movies where he gets with that alien and his suit turns black. Is that what you're referring to?
No, not Venom. There's a different type of. Ooh, let me see. Hold on, 1 second.
Okay.
Let's see. This is there's a specific one that I wanted. Scarlet Spiderman. Spider-Man. That's what I'd want to play. I'd want to play Scarlet Spider-Man. So I do have these dream roles and stuff and this idea of what I want to do. And
top of my list, just talking to you for these last 30 minutes, you're the Riddler.
which is funny because I actually I played the Riddler in a comedic skit, but something small. But yeah, but thank you so much. I think I would really have a fun time with the Riddler. So I'm really interested to see what Paul Dano does with it in the new Batman. But I think that Batman is going to be just very, very dark.
Oh, it is. Well, first of all, Warner with Batman, they've always taken, it's not like your Marvel movies. I mean, even just the tone of the film itself. I'm talking about the quality of the film. It's all very dark. The DC done with Warner Brothers, as opposed to the Marvel films, they're much more lighter. I'm not saying they're great movies. I love the Marvel movies. But the DC Warner Brother, comic book Batmans and whatnot, just have a much darker feel to them. Do you agree with that?
100%, and especially the Robert Pattinson version. I mean, in the trailer, it looks like he straight up kills the dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And then we all saw Joker, and it made $1 billion. And yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Colin Farrell I'm so looking forward to the Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan. Anyway, Aaron, I want to thank you so much for coming on here. We're going to look for that movie that's coming out in 2 weeks with Lance Henrikson. It's called Alpha, what again?
Rift. Alpha Rift.
Alpha Rift, guys. Check it out. In 2 weeks, it's coming out to select AMC theaters and to video on demand. It stars Aaron, Lance Henrikson. I'll be checking it out. Any final thoughts before we go?
No, just, John, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. You are like this huge, exciting ball of energy.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
I want to thank Aaron. I want to thank our viewers for tuning in. Thank you so much. Until next time, stay safe. And on behalf of Aaron and myself, stay walking, guys.
Stay walking.